Corporations don't manipulate people. They design environments that do it for them. In this episode, we explore how modern workplaces, corporations, and digital ecosystems are engineered to influence behavior and compliance. We also examine architectural, structural, and psychological design that replaces force with subtle coercion. You will see how systems, not individuals, shape obedience. We reveal strategies for recognizing and navigating these engineered environments without surrendering autonomy. Corporations do not manipulate people in the overt, violent sense. No, they do not coerce with sticks or explicit threats. Manipulation in modern institutions, you see, it is structural. It is embedded in the very architecture, the workflow, the reward system, and the subtle psychological environment. To truly understand this, one must step back and observe, without attachment. Observe the system, not the individuals. The system, it shapes behavior through design, creating a predictable human output without ever raising a voice. The moment you perceive the environment as neutral, you become the subject, not the strategist. Consider, if you will, the office. Cubicles, you see, are not arbitrary, open-plan layouts, whilst marketed as collaborative, are, in fact, psychological instruments. Visibility. It creates accountability and compliance. When people are constantly observed, subtly or overtly, they modify their behavior. Even without a manager present, employees adjust their actions, their speech, and their timing to fit perceived expectations. Surveillance, my dear, is not merely digital, it is spatial. Every line of sight, every desk placement, every communal area is a vector for behavior modulation. The environment, it enforces norms more efficiently than confrontation ever could. Digital dashboards, performance metrics, and gamified systems, they amplify this effect. Metrics become mirrors. When a progress bar or ranking system is visible, it shifts internal incentives. People begin competing, adjusting, and optimizing for points or recognition, rather than intrinsic work quality. They police themselves. The corporation does not need to compel. They design the system so individuals compel themselves. Compliance becomes automatic because the environment has redefined reward, attention, and consequence. The game is invisible, yet it is profoundly effective. Reward structures, you see, are similarly engineered. Promotions, bonuses, and recognition are distributed not purely for output, but for alignment with desired behaviors. Subtle favoritism, delayed reinforcement, and symbolic acknowledgement shape perception of what is truly valued. Employees internalize these priorities, often unaware that their behavior is guided by signals designed for predictability. The moment you realize that these rewards are instruments, not incentives, you detach from their emotional pull. Detachment is clarity. Clarity is leverage. Leverage allows navigation without surrendering agency. The problem, you see, is that most people interpret the workplace as neutral. They believe effort correlates with recognition, output correlates with reward, and rules are applied consistently. In reality, the system is designed for predictable behavior. Hierarchies, open spaces, reporting structures, and even software tools are aligned to extract compliance and standardize outcomes. Individual performance matters less than alignment with the engineered flow of attention, incentives, and perception. Those unaware act according to invisible rules. Those aware, they act strategically, observing both the rules and the architecture behind them. Corporate culture, you must understand, is not organic. It is engineered. Rituals, language, office rituals, and symbolic behaviors reinforce hierarchy and obedience. Meetings, emails, and even casual interactions are shaped to transmit expectations subtly. Consider, if you will, the cadence of weekly reports, the tone of managerial communication, or the structure of peer review systems. Each element is a channel for influence. By the time an employee recognizes pressure, it is too late. The system has conditioned their response. To break free, one must recognize that the environment itself is the manipulator. Behavioral psychology, you see, underpins every design choice. Humans, they respond predictably to scarcity, visibility, and perceived authority. Reward structures, they exploit these very tendencies. Social comparison, it drives effort, collaboration, and compliance. Fear of missing out, or indeed appearing incompetent, triggers overperformance in alignment with systemic goals. Recognition, whether delayed or sporadic, conditions loyalty and shapes risk tolerance. Even digital surveillance, one might argue, operates on classical conditioning. Notifications, alerts, and progress markers. They trigger dopamine responses that reinforce desired actions. The individual, in essence, acts as their own governor, shaped, as it were, by invisible hands. Digital tools, of course, they magnify structural manipulation. Task management software, communication platforms, and analytics dashboards are not neutral. No. They are carefully constructed to guide attention, prioritize tasks, and create urgency where desired. Notifications, color coding, and progress metrics are calibrated to manipulate perception and action. Algorithms they subtly highlight behaviors deemed valuable by management. Every click, every response, every status update feeds back into a system designed to condition compliance. The observer, you see, often believes they are operating autonomously. In truth, the system orchestrates both behavior and perception. Strategic awareness requires detachment. Recognize that the system is designed to extract value, not to support the individual. Emotional responses are predictable levers. Pride, fear, ambition, and loyalty are instruments, not spontaneous feelings. Observe without attachment. Ask, where is influence flowing? What behaviors are reinforced unconsciously? Which signals shape perception? Once the architecture is understood, you operate from advantage. The system becomes legible, not oppressive. You can navigate, exploit, or bypass designed pressures whilst retaining autonomy. The manipulation is often invisible, you see, because it is structural, not personal. Managers, executives, and HR, they're not necessarily malicious. No, they are merely conduits of design. Policies, office layouts, communication flows, and evaluation systems. These, my dear, carry the structural influence. Resistance is often misdirected at individuals rather than understood as a product of architecture. The post-Stoic strategist, well, he sees the environment as a system of forces rather than a mere collection of actors. Emotional neutrality that allows observation of these forces without personal entanglement. Clarity produces leverage. Leverage, in turn, produces freedom. Even organizational rituals are instruments. Weekly meetings, performance reviews, team-building exercises, and recognition ceremonies. They are carefully timed to reinforce hierarchy, normalize behavior, and standardize perception. The repetition of ritual, it conditions responses. The structure of interaction becomes the teacher. The individual believes they are learning culture, collaboration, or skill. In reality, the environment is sculpting predictability. Those who internalize this understanding, they separate themselves psychologically from the flow, maintaining autonomy whilst others remain guided by invisible design. Indeed, reward systems extend far beyond mere compensation. Visibility, praise, and symbolic recognition often carry weight equivalent to, or even greater than, financial incentives. Public acknowledgement, badges, or even social ranking, you see, induce conformity and predictability. Leaders, astute as they are, exploit these mechanisms to reduce overt enforcement. Behavioral economics, of course, confirms that humans act quite differently when observed or rewarded symbolically. The modern corporate environment, then, is optimized to channel human behavior without recourse to punishment. Power, my dear friends, is encoded in design, not in authority. Consider, too, workspace design in subtler ways. Lighting, sound, proximity, and visibility all guide behavior. Open layouts, for instance, encourage observation and social regulation. Partition spaces, conversely, reduce independence. Digital interfaces prioritize certain tasks, prompt responses, and standardize workflows. Break rooms, communal spaces, and even hallway placement influence interaction patterns. The environment itself, you see, is a curriculum, teaching compliance and shaping decision-making through subtle cues rather than explicit directives. Structural manipulation, you see, also leverages time and urgency. Deadlines, notifications, and reporting cycles create such predictable patterns of stress and attention. People, you'll find, perform optimally when constrained. Corporations design this temporal pressure not for efficiency alone. No, but to condition responses and prioritize alignment with systemic objectives. Urgency becomes a mechanism of behavioral calibration. Employees internalize pacing, rhythm, and priority hierarchies, unconsciously aligning with these engineered expectations. Predictable responses, indeed, are the product of careful temporal design. The post-Stoic strategist asks a different question. How do I operate in the system without being governed by it? Awareness alone is insufficient. Strategy requires anticipation of design levers. Monitor spatial arrangements, digital cues, social signaling, and reward patterns. Identify pressure points and psychological triggers. Once observed, choose when to comply, when to resist, and when to leverage the system for personal advantage. Autonomy is not rebellion, it is strategic engagement. The most subtle manipulations occur in belief systems embedded by culture. Norms, language, and social hierarchy enforce obedience unconsciously. Employees align behavior to perceived expectations. Deviations are self-corrected. Feedback is internalized. The environment shapes the mind before conscious decisions are made. Understanding the invisible curriculum of norms allows the strategist to operate outside conditioned responses. Emotional neutrality allows observation of influence without being influenced. Digital surveillance extends this architecture. Monitoring tools, communication analytics, and behavior tracking create layers of invisible observation. Every action feeds into the system, reinforcing patterns and predicting behavior. The system learns faster than the individual. Awareness of feedback loops allows the strategist to anticipate and exploit patterns, mitigating manipulation while maintaining performance. The environment is both a mirror and a map. The informed strategist reads it without distortion. The architecture of manipulation is not inherently malevolent. It is efficient. Systems are designed to extract predictable behavior and align incentives with organizational goals. The strategist, detached from emotion, can navigate this architecture, extracting value without surrendering autonomy. Observing patterns, analyzing cues, and anticipating systemic levers transforms the individual from subject to operator. Influence is derived from understanding design, not resisting it blindly. Reward timing, feedback loops, and symbolic reinforcement are core mechanisms. Recognition schedules, performance dashboards, and peer evaluations condition alignment with desired behaviors. Employees internalize priorities, calibrate effort, and adjust perception. The system achieves compliance without direct confrontation. The observer, unaware of structural influence, experiences stress, confusion, and pressure. The strategist perceives opportunity, pattern, and predictability. Even communication is engineered. Email structure, meeting cadence, and reporting formats standardize responses. Expectations are embedded in templates and protocols. Deviations are noted. Adherence is rewarded subtly. Behavioral consistency is enforced, not through force, but through design. The modern corporation is an ecosystem of invisible levers, each calibrated to maximize predictability. Awareness transforms this ecosystem from trap to navigable structure. Psychology underpins every layer. Social proof, scarcity, authority, and reward conditioning shape behavior. Recognition systems exploit desire for approval. Metrics exploit competitiveness. Transparency systems exploit self-monitoring. Subtle coercion replaces force. Influence is embedded, persistent, and efficient. Those unaware act predictably. Those aware act strategically. The post-Stoic mindset allows navigation without attachment to outcomes, retaining autonomy while engaging the system effectively. To mitigate, the strategist observes, detaches, and anticipates. Identify levers, pressure points, and signaling mechanisms. Assess timing, attention flows, and reward structures. Operate where influence flows, not where effort is demanded. Recognize that behavior is guided by design, not randomness. Emotional neutrality allows precise action without interference. Clarity of perception transforms coercion into opportunity. The environment becomes legible. Autonomy becomes sustainable. Ultimately, the architecture of manipulation reveals that obedience is not enforced but designed. Individuals comply because the system aligns incentives, attention, and perception. The informed strategist recognizes the structure, decodes its levers, and navigates without surrendering autonomy. Power lies not in resistance, but in comprehension. Understanding systems transforms apparent constraints into avenues of leverage. Observation precedes action. Detachment precedes influence. Clarity precedes control. Compliance is predictable. Resistance is optional. Influence is available. The modern corporate ecosystem is a complex machine of behavioral design. Every desk, every dashboard, every corridor, every interaction has been optimized to guide thought, action, and attention. Awareness converts the invisible into actionable intelligence. The post-Stoic strategist walks within the system and bound by it, observing flows, leveraging patterns, and maintaining autonomy. The lesson is timeless. Systems shape behavior far more efficiently than, say, mere force. Those who perceive structure without attachment, they gain freedom. Those who act emotionally, well, they surrender control. Corporate manipulation, you see, is invisible, pervasive, and efficient. But it is, indeed, legible. The architecture, that is the game. Understanding it transforms mere participation into strategy, and strategy into true autonomy. Those who master observation, detachment, and timing, they navigate effortlessly, whilst others obey, quite unknowingly.